All right, so I am just trekking up my driveway and figured I would record this now. And I'm not crying. It just looks like it because my eyes are sensitive to wind. But so this video that I'm posting now, this is probably going to conclude kind of this level of information because I'm really going to kind of shift toward the information that was the entire motivation for me to create this channel. Now, I know of resources and other really good information out there about like dark occult and like secret societies and things like that if you're interested. I might have a few more videos on that depending on where things go, but I'm really going to kind of present this information and bring it to the next step. With that being said, I also want to say that the information that I am presenting is based on my own knowledge and information I've gathered over a 20-year span. You don't have to believe it. In fact, if you're a religious person and that makes you a better person, I support it 100%. What I don't support is people that claim to be religious, claim to stand for certain things, and then they don't demonstrate it in their life. So that's kind of my biggest argument against that. But for the most part, this will be the last video that like I'm really going to focus on like the history and kind of where we've gotten where we are today. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. The only reason why I decided to put this out there initially in my content is because I'm really trying to open minds and prepare you for the information that's gonna come. So enjoy the video and looking forward to the more positive content that will come in the future.
I personally think that the only way to understand ancient stories is to think of ourselves from an ancient perspective. And there was nothing more important to ancient civilization than the stars. The stars and celestial objects were so important in ancient times that they had built entire civilizations according to them. But no other object in the sky has ever been adored more than the sun. And it's no surprise, because we wouldn't exist without it. This object was so important that gods had been created to represent it in their stories. Meet Horus, an Egyptian sun god that existed nearly 3,000 years before Christ. Horus was born on or around December 25th. He was conceived, apparently by magic, by his mother Isis. Upon his death, he was resurrected. Horus was also known for having disciples, although there is some debate about how many he had. He was also known for healing others, shape-shifting, and controlling the weather. Horus continued to be worshipped even after the Romans conquered Egypt. Now, the Egyptians adored Horus's mother and father, Isis and Osiris, so much that a cult surrounding these deities was formed. This is what is known as the cult of Isis. The cult of Isis is shrouded in mystery as the teachings were very secret. And to this day, it's very difficult to find any information about the practices of this cult. What we do know is that there were a mix of Greek and Roman politicians that helped the spread of the cult of Isis into both Greece and Rome. And it may even extended into India and other regions. And it was this spread of the cult that I believe is what led to the establishment of institutionalized religion. My theory is that what was being taught within the cult of Isis was information that allowed people to be too powerful. It's my belief that religious leaders throughout the regions made some sort of a pact to reserve these teachings for the high-level religious leaders and to keep the information out of the hands of the common people. But in order to do this, they had to give the people something to believe in, all the while keeping them as far away from the true teachings as possible. This is what's commonly known as the Cross of the Zodiac. This chart depicts the 4 seasons and the 12 months that encompass the entire year. And the chart is meant to track the movement of the sun throughout the various months of the year. But if we remove the zodiac portion of this image, a new image starts to appear. Where have we seen that symbol before? To me, this suggests that Christian and Catholic traditions are based in sun worship. This is why the day of worship in this religion just happens to be Sunday, to worship the sun. But if this isn't compelling enough evidence for you, perhaps we should look at some of the other religious counterparts to evaluate their days of worship and symbolism. Islam is the second most popular religion in the world, and their day of worship is Friday, which is based off the Norse goddess Frigg or Freya, which is a lunar goddess. And this is why Islam's symbol is a moon. Lastly, the third most popular religion is Judaism, and its day of worship is Saturday. This is based off the Roman god Saturn, and their symbol is a star. You see, all of these prominent religions have their roots in celestial worship. But regardless of where it derived, I believe that the base and fundamental theology originated in Egypt. Remember Horus, the son of Isis and Osiris? He had 2 eyes, where one eye represented the sun and the other represented the moon. The eye that represented the moon was destroyed, and this is the representation or the symbolic meaning to why we have different cycles of the moon, where the sun remains constant. All of these religions, they're cut from the same cloth. This is why the Vatican proudly sports an obelisk and cross of the zodiac. This is why Jesus shares the same characteristics as Horus. And this is why all prominent religions, spiritual practices, and philosophies carry the same stories, because they are all based on a fundamental truth that I believe is everybody's birthright to have. I personally don't believe that it should be hidden and reserved for the few. I believe in freedom. May the truth come to light, and may the truth set you free.